Hey friends, it's that time of week again. Let's see what it is I had for dinner with my family this week. So it was a really good week at my house. It's the last week before we take a little break from school, so I would definitely say my meals were pretty simple this week. And when we're kind of working towards that week off, that week break, I'm really feeling it and I'm just kind of like done. I'm over all of it. So my meals were definitely super simple this week. They were all really, really delicious. For me, of course, the highlight was eggplant parmesan. That is one of my favorites. If there is pasta included in any meal plan, you can pretty much guarantee that's gonna be my favorite meal. I absolutely adore pasta. And I just really don't feel like I eat enough eggplant. It's delicious. Anyway, that is, I think, the last recipe you'll see in this video, but overall, everything was super, super delicious. I am going to be putting out my What's for Breakfast video later on this week, probably like Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided which day yet. So if you are not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you know when that video drops. I've got a lot of delicious breakfast ideas to share with you guys. All right, I think that is enough chatting. Let's head on over to the kitchen and see what we had for dinner. Hey guys, happy Monday for me. Let's see, you guys are watching this on Sunday, but it's Monday right now and I'm going to make orange chicken. So this recipe could not be easier. It's super simple, tastes better than the frozen stuff, way cheaper than fast food, and it's delicious. Oh my gosh, so good. So like a month ago, I made some Mongolian beef on my channel and that gave me the idea for this. I used the sauce recipe and then I subbed in orange juice instead of water. So we're gonna use ginger, garlic, brown sugar, soy sauce, and orange juice to make a delicious sauce. We're gonna do a quick pan fry on some cubed up chicken breasts, and we're gonna mix in frozen veggies because it's quick and simple. And then I have some white rice already cooked in my fridge. I needed it for my husband's lunches. We're just gonna heat it up and serve this on top of it. If you guys had like, I don't know, frozen egg rolls or something like that, this would be a great meal to serve those with. I don't. So we're just gonna have this. Let's get to cooking. I have a bowl and we're gonna start with the sauce. I just washed this so it is a little wet. That's okay. We're gonna do about half a cup of orange juice. Last time I made this, I used Sunny D, which is a little bit sweeter. So I might go a little bit heavier on the brown sugar today, I'm not sure. We're gonna toss in about a teaspoon or so of minced ginger. If you have powder, that's fine too, or if you want to grate in fresh, that is totally awesome. I just use that squeezy stuff in the fridge, and I think it's delicious. We're gonna do some garlic. If you have fresh, that's great. If you want to use powder, that's fine. I always use this, and I'm gonna do about 2 cloves worth of garlic. We're gonna add in some soy sauce. And it is a pretty decent amount of soy sauce. I think the recipe calls for like 1/3 of a cup, so it's a lot. There we go. And then the last thing I'm gonna put in is some brown sugar. And like I said, I'm gonna go a little heavier on this than I did with my last recipe because this is a different orange juice and I don't want it to be bitter. So I'm probably gonna do about 2, maybe 3 tablespoons. We'll taste it in a minute and see. I'm gonna mix everything together and see what it tastes like, and then we'll go from there. So basically, if you want it sweeter, add more sugar. If you don't, that's fine. But always taste your sauces and stuff, because what it tastes like now, it's gonna be even stronger because we're gonna cook it in the skillet for a few minutes, so it'll kind of reduce a little bit. Make sure you like the flavors. All right, I have a couple of chicken breasts that I just cubed up in this bowl right here. And to it, we're gonna add some cornstarch. And you really just want to coat the outside of the chicken with cornstarch. So, not too much. All right, I'm gonna toss this around and try to make sure everybody's got cornstarch on them. As you can see, I've got the pan all ready with just a couple tablespoons of oil. It's been heating up for a few minutes. I think it's hot enough to get going, so I just want to place this in. And don't crowd the pan too much because you don't want to steam the chicken. You do want it to get like a nice crispy outside. So if you need to do this in 2 batches, then do this in 2 batches and that's fine. Okay, I added my frozen vegetables. I thawed them in the microwave first and drained the water, and then I added them in with the chicken. And now I'm getting ready to add my sauce into the pan. I'm giving it a good stir because that sugar will settle down at the bottom of the dish, and we don't want that. We want it to go in the skillet, so I'm just gonna add that right over the top. And we're gonna give this a good stir, and we're gonna let this simmer for a few minutes and let it kind of reduce and thicken on its own. And if it's still not thick enough for you, you can add a cornstarch slurry, which would just be equal parts of cornstarch and water. So like for this little amount, I'd probably do half a tablespoon of cornstarch and half a tablespoon of water, and then I would add it in. But definitely let it cook first just to make sure you really need it. It will thicken on its own because there's sugar in here, but I will probably add the slurry just because I like a really thick sauce, but I know not everybody's like that. So we'll check back on it in just a minute. All right, there it is. I served it over white rice. But if you really wanted to, you could do fried rice. It's just I thought this would be a little bit healthier, and I already had some ready to go. So there it is, orange chicken. So delicious. It smells so good. You guys have got to try this one. This was definitely a winner. I will list the recipe down below so you guys can try it. Okay, on to the next night. Originally I was going to make some enchiladas, but I decided that I didn't really have that much time to invest in it, so we're gonna make an enchilada casserole. This is a shortcut, tastes just like enchiladas for the most part, but way easier to make. So I also decided that this time, instead of doing green chili beef enchiladas, we're gonna do green chili turkey enchiladas. So I started off by browning my pound of ground turkey. I added in some minced onions. You could chop up a whole onion or put in onion powder, totally up to you, but I'm trying to use this up. I added in some chili powder and some garlic salt. And then I'm just going to go ahead and let this cook for a while. There's a lot of liquid in this turkey, but I did discover if I cook it for a really good chunk of time, all the water cooks away and it browns up really beautifully, and it's a lot more similar to ground beef. So I think I cooked this for probably about 15 minutes. It did take a little bit of time, but this was way better. As you can see, it browned up beautifully. All the liquid's gone. It was perfect. So I have my casserole dish here, and I'm just putting some green chili enchilada sauce. You can use whichever one you like. We like the one that has added garlic in it. I think it's by the Hatch brand. So delicious. But I put some of that on the bottom, and then I line my corn tortillas in there. Now I did pan fry these for about 10 seconds each to make them pliable. The casserole will hold up much better if you do that. I really suggest it, but you don't have to. And then I just started layering. I put on ground turkey, cheese, green enchilada sauce, and I layered again and again. until I ran out of ground turkey. And I think I got like 3 or 4 layers in here. And then I'm just gonna bake this in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes so that the cheese can get all melty in all the different layers and it can get all bubbly and delicious. And then I like to let this set for at least 30 minutes. For me, I'm actually cooking this in advance. I cooked this before we had to go out and do a whole bunch of stuff in the evening. And then I just let it set for a couple of hours and then just reheated it, and it holds together beautifully if you do it like that. But I mean, you can eat it when it comes out of the oven too, that's fine. You could do this with red enchilada sauce if you want to. You could do it with shredded turkey. You could do it with just cheese. I've done that before, but it is like super cheesy, so I really don't recommend that. Any meat of your choice though would probably be really, really delicious. Typically I do ground beef, but in the interest of saving some money, I did try ground turkey and it was really, really good. I would definitely make this again. And I hope you guys will try it at home. As you can see, I just served it with watermelon on the side. It was a simple, quick, easy dinner. All right, it is Wednesday at my house, and we are going to have eggplant parmesan tonight. And then tomorrow, which is my grocery day, we can just have leftovers from this and the enchiladas from yesterday. So this is a super simple recipe. It does take a little bit of time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to slice, actually I'm going to peel and then slice that eggplant. Then I'm going to batter it with some buttermilk, a little bit of egg, and some flour breadcrumb mixture because I like it extra crispy. We're going to pan fry it, and then we're going to put it in a casserole dish. I like to top mine with either pasta sauce, diced tomatoes, whatever. And then for most of us, we'll have some cheese on top. Not my oldest, you guys know he doesn't like cheese. And then bake it in the oven for just a little while, just to kind of melt the cheese and get it all beautiful and bubbly. And I like to serve mine with pasta. So that's what's on the menu. Let's go ahead and get to work. All right, if you don't want to, you don't have to do this, but I find after you fried the eggplant, the skin gets a little bit tough and it just makes it a little more difficult to eat. So I like to just go ahead and peel my eggplant just because I feel like it's just easier to eat that way. But again, you totally don't have to if you don't want to. It's just an extra step. So it's a preference thing. Okay, I've got them peeled. It's time to slice it. And you can slice it as thick or as thinly as you like. I'm gonna do mine about like this. Just try to keep your slices about the same size so they cook in about the same amount of time. And usually I can get a bigger eggplant than this. I love eggplant. I mean, just absolutely love it. I think it has a fantastic flavor. This was a little small, but that's okay. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and make my stations. I'm just gonna do 1 egg with some buttermilk because I don't have a huge eggplant and I do need to use this buttermilk up. It's the only reason I'm using it. Typically I would not, I would just do like regular milk, but I hate to waste. And then in the first one, I'm gonna put flour. And then in my last bowl down here, I'm gonna put panko breadcrumbs. They're super crunchy and they hold their crunch really well. So once we sauce this and bake it to melt the cheese, they're still gonna retain a lot of that texture, which is what I'm looking for. Now I'm sure you noticed I didn't season any of this, and that's because I'm going to season the eggplant pieces individually. I just find that gives a better overall flavor. It's more even. Everybody gets what they need, so I'm going to do that. I like to just lay them out. I'm gonna season them on both sides, and then I'll stack them up and I'll start my little assembly line. All right, I'm gonna keep this really simple with some garlic salt and some pepper. Go ahead and stack these guys up over here to one side, and I'm gonna start dredging everything. Not everything, I'm gonna start dredging all the eggplant. So first in the flour, just so that oh, I forgot to mix the egg up. Then I'm gonna add just a little bit more buttermilk. There it is. All right, so I'm gonna dredge each piece in the flour, and that's gonna help everything kind of stick. We'll do buttermilk, and then we'll do the panko, and this will get messy. Super messy, but also super delicious. Then I like to just set mine off to the side and let it just set. That kind of helps the coating stick to it better. And I'll just continue battering all these pieces until they're all coated. So to cook these, we just fry them just like you would anything else. You don't need a ton of oil. They're not really thick, so I did probably about 1/2 inch, maybe less of oil on the bottom of the skillet, because then remember, once you put a few in there, the level of the oil will get higher, and you just need to cover them for the most part. So we'll let that heat up probably about 3 to 4 minutes, and then we'll start frying these guys. All right, I'm about to start frying these. While they're cooking, I'm gonna go ahead and make some sauce. I have like 1/2 cup or so of, maybe a little bit more of spaghetti sauce that I froze last time we ate spaghetti and had some left over. I'm gonna go ahead and mix it with these diced tomatoes and a can of tomato sauce. I'll put in some Italian seasoning and probably about a teaspoon of sugar, because this stuff has like a really, you can taste the can and there's like a lot of acidity, and that sugar just kind of helps cut through all that. So I'll mix about a teaspoon of Italian seasoning and a teaspoon of sugar in with this and that other spaghetti sauce. And that's what we're gonna use for this, but I'll do it all while everything's cooking. So here we go, let's start frying. All right, so here's the first batch. Like I said, I'm gonna let them drain for just a little bit, and then I'm going to put some sauce around them, and I'm gonna top them with some Parmesan cheese, and I'm gonna bake them at 350 for about like 15 minutes. We're just looking to melt the Parmesan. I think I have a little bit of mozzarella cheese too that I may mix in there. We're just looking for melty deliciousness, that's all. And I like to serve mine with pasta. You do not have to do that. You can serve them just on their own if you want. Totally up to you, but like I said, we like to serve them with pasta, so that's what we're gonna do. But eggplant parmesan, it's what's for dinner. Friends, those were our dinners this week. Super delicious, super yummy. Like I said, they were super easy too. You know, my kids had their last karate classes before summer break. They're off for like a week and a half. And of course, we're heading up to a 1-week break with homeschool. So we're just kind of feeling the burnout. We're ready to take a break. And we had VBS every night this week, Vacation Bible School at our church. So it just kind of felt like we had a lot going on in the evening time. So I was definitely sticking to those easier meals, which was awesome. Next week I have a lot of great stuff planned, so I hope you guys are subscribed so you can see next week's What's for Dinner video. I'm showing one of my favorite recipes. It's another pasta dish. It'll be crab Alfredo, not real crab, imitation crab, but it's so delicious, so make sure you're subscribed so you catch next week's dinner video. All right, that's gonna do it, you guys. I hope you all have a wonderful 4th of July, and I will see you here on Tuesday for my grocery haul. Bye.